Welcome to She Who Wrenches, a Mercy-verse reread-along podcast. I'm Brittany.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Kelly.
Today we're mostly talking about Moon Called, but everything through Blind Date with a Werewolf is fair game, including fair game. In case you don't remember, this is the one where inviting a stray werewolf home turns into vampires, fae bankers, and a full-scale supernatural custody battle over Mercy's calendar.
And now it's time for Recap Guy!
They're getting ready to leave Aspen Creek, and so she's doing a car inspection. It's for a Vanagon. It's just going to break down, so she's just basically hooking up an oil IV drip to it. And then Bran comes down like, "Hey, surprise, you're taking my son with you." And she's like, "Oh, what?" And then he's like, "Hey, don't you worry about this werewolf business there, little fella. Let the werewolves take care of it." And she's like, "Okay, go sit in your car there, peanut butter." And then Adam's like, "Oh, no, I'm stuck inside a Vanagon with the werewolf blues again." And then they're driving back and they're trying to figure out who's behind the attack and with the werewolf roofies, who made all that stuff. And Adam's still wondering, "Oh, I wonder who's got my Jessie girl." And Samuel puts his hand on Mercy's leg, and then Adam's like, "Hey, don't you touch her." And they're like, Mercy stops and like, "Hey, you guys go out and settle this, or don't have a lipstick racing over my account." So they have to figure out who's dominant and does it somehow. I know they cut away. They do commercial break.
It all happens off screen.
Yeah, commercial. And then they make it back and they're like, "Oh, hey, we're going to go stash Adam in Warren's house. And by the way, Warren can't tell his boyfriend who he is really." And it's like, "Oh, Mercy, I'm going to leave that up to you." So I was like, "Hey, Kyle, there's something I got to tell you about Warren. He's a furry." He's like, "Okay, I'm kind of into that." It's like, "No, he's like really a furry." And it's like, "Oh, what do you mean?" It's like, "Oh, here, I'll go show you." So it's changed into Coyote. He goes, "Oh, well, okay, I guess that's kind of cool. I never thought about that, but all right." And then so they go back and Adam's like, "Hey, I thought I was going to have to tell you not to do it. And she's like, "Oh, you some bitch." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm probably some bitch." And then they go talk some more about find out who's got Jessie and who's behind everything. And they're like, "Oh, geez, I know this troll person does a lot of banking," because, that's a thing. "Yeah, the vampires had a huge deposit in their Vampire A account. And so we're going to go set you up and send you to the sea and see what's going on there." And then they run into this old piano prodigy, Lily girl, that is like, "Oh, hey, who's this tall hunk of werewolf?" And it's like, "Oh, his neck looks pretty tasty. I'm going to take a bite of it." And takes a bite out of his neck. And then, strange things ensue and he starts acting weird, and Mercy pulls out a lamb, is like trying to fry Marsilia, and it's a whole thing. So I probably missed a bunch, but I'm going off the top of my head, which there's not a lot in it. So that leads us up to now.
Speaking up about chapter 11.
Let's leave my finances out of this.
I will take this opportunity to point out that today I am coming from an unusual location, which is to say I can see Brittany and Eric over the top of my computer screen. We are in the same room recording this episode for a change. I know that's really weird for a podcast.
I, however, am on a tape delay.
Mentally, that's always the case.
Yeah, there's going to be some lag here.
They are leaving the vampire seed.
Attempting to leave. We're not sure if it was successful. We know they think they done and they trying to hit the road.
Yeah, that's right.
So if I just remember I had something in the car.
My headlights are on. I'll be back. Yeah.
Andre though slaps him and says, "Hey, you should have said what Mercy was." And we're like, "Oh, so is this a big deal?" And I guess also Mercy's like, "So is this a big deal?"
Yeah, Andre does a big old vamp slam.
Yeah, we find out that it was apparently unwelcome news. It's not great for the vampires as far as they're concerned, but we also find out that it is news to them, even though at this point we know that Mercy and Stefan have been friends for a long time. We know that he knows. This is going to get weird. I know that you know that I know that you know. But he's known forever and has willfully and with knowledge of forethought ain't telling nobody not know how.
Yeah.
So
withheld information from Marsilia.
A little bit of a side note. I recently heard Patty actually say Stefan.
Okay.
So let's see if I can work that in from my years of muscle memory, but I'm going to go with it's going to be hit or miss and mostly miss.
All right. Stefan. Okay.
Stefan.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't you feel like authors should always have to like sit down with whoever's reading their book and like, let's just discuss name pronunciation real quick?
I would really like if there was just a glossary given to the person reading, because I don't fault the person reading if it's intended to be something else. Like,
yeah. No, but like shouldn't there be like a standard? We're reading an
Yes.
audiobook here. Let's have our standard meeting of author says weird words out loud to reader.
yes,
And they get to record it and re-listen to it as much as they
because
want.
then
I don't-
also it would be consistent across books. And then when the same character shows up later, maybe his name will actually match. Yeah.
Well, I'm waiting for a showdown between Beauclair and Beauclair.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say if we could
Never get them in the same room.
Yeah.
No,
if we could get the author to have that kind of conference, that would Maroc.
that would Maroc. Kelly bringing the heat. Yeah.
I'm all hopped up on classic Pepsi.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
knows what's gonna happen next?
Oh, and then later.
Exactly. All right. This podcast brought to you by Soda.
Stefan is like, hey, so I'm just going to tiptoe out of here because sometimes werewolves have a bad reaction to vampire enthrallment.
Yes.
So I don't want to be around for that. And Mercy's like,
Hmm.
okay.
All right,
Great.
so-
Yeah.
I get to
Thanks
deal
for
with
that.
an angry werewolf in a Vanagon.
I don't think they're driving at attempted high speeds on hilly roads, though.
Well, that's the only way.
No, but
They can only attempt high speeds. They're not going to reach it.
I mean, maybe on a downhill with a tailwind, maybe they'll hit the speed limit. I don't know. I just don't know why they keep trying to get everybody in the van again and over Vanagon.
I'm sorry, Vanagon?
Vanna, one more time.
Oh,
So Samuel starts waking up, kind of freaks out.
he's like, what in the hell is it with me and Vanagons?
I mean, I feel like that's really the basis of his bad reaction is like, I'm in this melon farming Vanagon again.
So less vampire, more Vanagon.
Yeah. Why does this keep happening? I
Yeah.
hate my life. What was the poor choice I made in all of these centuries that has led me to the Vanagon again?
Have you heard of the Astrovan? I'm just saying, it's all-wheel drive.
They make electric ones now.
Yeah,
I
it's-
mean, they look awesome.
wait.
Oh, not when the book. I just realized,
Yeah,
not when the
not-
book is set, but yeah, but they do
They make electric witch.
like a Vanagon. It's back. They make an
Mhm.
electric VW van, and it's delightful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that sounds better.
Seen that? Yeah.
I've seen it go uphill,
Yeah.
so certainly an
even,
upgrade.
even like this hill out here.
Maybe.
Because mostly the reason I know about VW buses of any kind, I mean, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, so they were everywhere. But there's this hill up to my parents' house. And I remember the speed limit is 40, so you could do 45 reasonably, but not if there was a VW bus in front of you.
No.
If you're like, give up, you're going 20. This is just how this is because it is
Yeah.
a very steep hill.
On
Wow.
this episode of the Vanagon podcast,
While Samuel's trying to wake up, is when Warren calls Mercy and is like, hey, are you worried about somebody in the pack because they want to know all the stuff and Daryl's here and he's gonna
Everybody
Yeah.
wants to know, and nobody's talking, and it's kind of making all of them grumpy because this is, I think, the point when we find out that
werewolves get grumpy.
werewolves. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, this is the first mention that
Yeah.
werewolves get grumpy. No, that they get a little gossipy from time to time. It feels the pack feels a little like junior high in points, and yeah, so everybody's talking, and nobody's got answers, and nobody's even got a rumor of an answer, which. Good on Mercy for the OPSEC with this because like absolutely nobody had anything to go on, which I was kind of impressed with, honestly. All that Mercy knows for certain is that somebody sold Adam up the river. She discovered him.
I don't think she knows it for certain. I think she just feels it strong.
Like
she has an instinct.
something's wrong.
Does she listen to her instincts?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Like the only definite things we have are very disparate pieces of information, and reconciling all of that data is too hard for the junior high gossip machine that powers the
Yeah.
pack.
Yeah, a bunch of teen wolves.
That one was pretty good. I'll give you that. But this is where we find out like nobody knows anything, and everybody, of course, has been talking about it because it's like all of the pack is losing their melon farming minds. What's up?
But it was the ringing phone that I was actually meaning to talk about, which was it was that set Samuel off. So like all of a sudden,
Oh yeah.
he's in an unforced error change, and
Yeah. So he
not in control.
changes into wolf, and then the whole comes pulling up behind Mercy and like, oh, what you got in there?
This is after he's calmed down. Like she
Oh.
does the whole thing where she's
Oh,
like,
where she rolls
changes
over
into a
and-
coyote
yeah.
and gets into the submissive pose so that he'll calm down.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how that helps him calm down, but it apparently does.
Yeah.
And then the phone rang.
It's coming from inside the
But then he
Vanagon.
calms down, and then that's when the police officer
Yeah.
shows up.
It's like,
And I
oh,
love that scene because he's just like, oh, that's a big dog.
big dog.
But he pets him and thinks it's a dog, and it's real cute. He's like, well, don't go driving out in the middle of the night and running because that's dangerous, even if you have a werewolf dog.
Yeah.
Even with this great big dog. Yeah. That was the part I was amused by was, yeah, this dog is bigger than any person that's ever going to hassle you, but you should be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be careful.
I got to tell you to be careful because that's my job. And she was like, it'd be really nice if the officer didn't find that big old knife or my
Yeah.
gun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, they seem like they're cool. So then they are going to go back. Oh,
Oh,
he looks at the tattoo
tattoo. Yeah.
of the wolf print.
Yeah. Or coyote print.
Or, yeah, he was thinking it was a wolf print.
There's a
but
paw.
there is a paw. That's what I meant.
But only her and the tattoo artist knows.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's a,
Who may or may not be her roommate. Anyway,
oh,
may or may not be Shar.
yeah.
It was a roommate apparently. Yeah, she talked a little bit about how that's like how she doesn't want to hide who she is anymore, or at least keep that at her center. Then they get to Warren's house, and this is different than we hear about pack magic being used later.
Yeah.
It's a lot more elaborate to like keep the silence.
Yeah, because they're like
They all need the whole
whispering.
pack
Yeah.
sitting there chanting,
A
and,
bunch of people standing around outside.
and we don't really see the pack magic work like that any other time, I don't think. But that's a rare exception. And she has to like get through to Ariel. Gets Ariel.
Yeah. Who is not having it. And is very good at not having it because she's a high school teacher.
She's like, you shall not pass. And Mercy's like, but I'm speaking friend and entering. Sorry, wrong book.
Actually, one thing that I thought doesn't really jive, it was just a really simple line, but it doesn't jive with at least how the pack is behaving later. And it would be weird if it had behaved like this long. But she said, well, she had no experience fighting in human form. But I mean, I know things are different now and they're way harder, but Adam does training sessions with the pack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of time, and I think even when they go in here, they're fighting in human form, so they don't do so much damage.
Yeah. So it's like, well, she probably, I mean, I know they didn't train anywhere near as much as they do now that they're like on their own and in charge of the Tri-Cities and stuff. But I thought that one was interesting. But anyways, she's sort of showing like Mercy has ways of getting around people who are significantly stronger than her attacking her.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to take a human to a werewolf fight. Really just threw something at me. If you didn't see her move, it's because,
I'm just that fast.
just that fast. So
Okay. They got to break up the fight. She can't talk because they're all chanting and keeping the silence. I was just like, I don't know if you're just hitting each other with chairs. I mean, isn't that loud?
But doesn't Warren live in half of a duplex? So like,
oh yeah, it is half a
so
duplex.
it's kind of a
But wouldn't it also draw a lot of attention to see a bunch of people around outside?
just standing around talking to themselves.
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
Yeah. No one wearing a Bluetooth headset anywhere. They're just all walking around murmuring to themselves.
But they're all there, like
Yeah.
outside.
All of a sudden. Yeah.
just outside mumbling to their pagers.
Yep.
So she can't break it up by talking to them because they can't hear her because they're all silenced out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which again, we don't see that happen again quite like that. But so Samuel like does a big magic explosion of some kind,
Oh yeah, it sounds like some kind of
something to like get everyone's attention. And Adam's like, okay, I'm up now. And so then they can all talk. Oh, but Daryl like says something, and Mercy's like, oh, I could tell he valued loyalty, so there's no way he would like betray Adam.
I don't
Trying to
remember.
remember.
I don't remember what he said.
Yeah.
I
It was
got
something about how something went down. Like he wouldn't be this mad about it if
yeah.
that were the case or
Yeah.
something like
He
that.
was also like
oh,
on
because
board with
he was
somebody else.
he was under
Yeah.
orders from Adam not to say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's like, oh, okay.
Okay. So they kind of tell him what's going on. So at least Daryl's sort of in the loop, but is on board with not telling everybody else everything because they probably do have a traitor.
So we're still at that point. Like, we're not entirely. We're pretty sure it isn't Daryl, but and therefore Arieli. But aside from those two, like, we're still not ready to go wide with any.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we still got problems.
Yeah, we got some problems. So they're like, hey, we got this address. They're like, great, thanks. We're gonna go. You chill at home. And she's like, dude.
Yeah. Let the grown-ups handle this. Little girl went over about as well as you expect.
And I feel like Adam should know better.
Yeah, because I already killed 2 of y'all.
Yeah.
So
I mean, in fairness, she was pretty surprised about the first one, but
yes. But that doesn't mean it didn't happen, which also was a thing she told the vampires, was like, well, yeah, I've killed 2 werewolves, you know.
Yeah.
What'd you do before lunch today? And like that. And there was a strong reaction from Andre at that point, like, oh, well, it's like that. Which was interesting because that's where they got the address that we're talking about now is they said, oh yeah, like after we got after we talked about, yeah, that, you know, there was this magical bestowment of cash, that here's the address that they were talking about in question.
Yeah.
So
on the Find My Fiends app.
that was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I liked it.
See,
It was pretty clever. Okay.
So
So yeah,
there you go.
so they enter the address in the goblin positioning system and head off
I
to,
like that goblin positioning system.
and it says, oh, Larry's up yonder, turn left. Okay, so take a right at the pony and look for the dude in the weird looking boots.
Yeah,
That's your guy. So we end up, like, now that we've got all this information, this is when we have to get back to, like, now that we've had the side quest of werewolf, and I'm trying to make it WWE, Werewolf Entertainment, like we've had this wrestling match. Now that we're done, now that we've had Monday Night Raw, now we can move on to here's what's really going on. Ain't nobody seen your kid,
Monday Night
Adam.
Back Attack.
so she's mad, but whatever. She's gonna look at some stuff.
One of the things that was interesting about the rest of this is that at some point, you know, after they're like, you know, let the men handle this, little lady, then Mercy goes home and her porch is still contaminated.
Yeah, she still
Like,
smells.
we have
bad.
this moment of, like, remember, kind of, like, the thing about it when I was reading back through them was like, this is sort of a reminder, like, this is where this all started, and that there's still a lot of fallout from that. Like, her porch is contaminated, and you know,
It makes her sad every time.
yeah, and like, what can, you know, what kind of something could she do about that? And you know, it's another moment where we get another glimpse into Mercy, like, I can't leave it like this, and it makes me sad every time, and all of the stuff that she's trying to work through. Like, he was really nice and he was just a kid and didn't deserve for this to be how he went out. Like, you know, none of what happened to him was okay, and it's really sad that, you know, he seemed like he was just a sweet kid that got caught up in something, and here we are, and we get a little bit more about her in that moment of what that looks like and how she's, you know, still having to deal with all of the kind of regular, so to speak, consequences of all of this stuff happening, aside from, you know, a bunch of werewolves standing around talking to themselves outside her friend's house, and, you know, all these, you know, vampires and all these other things going on. It's still like, dead kid on the porch, you know, it's a problem. Like, yeah, so it was kind of nice to bring it back to that moment. So we get that moment of like, well, here's what I'm gonna do, and as part of that, that's when she goes by whatever the address is and is like, yeah, ain't nothing here, that's not very useful. And then is like, well, it's Thanksgiving, but I'm not doing anything and I'm not feeling particularly grateful, so
Yeah.
might as well go to the office.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Like,
go work on a car.
yeah, obviously has made no stuffing, therefore it's easy to cancel Thanksgiving as far as I'm concerned. So, like, if you don't have stuffing, just go home. And yeah, and offering stovetop is an act of aggression. I said what I said. I take stuffing very seriously. And so she's got no stuffing, so obviously can't even bother with Thanksgiving. And since she can't even, decides to just go to the office. So there she is.
And that's what she sees Sylvia. We sort of see, oh, she's all no nonsense and whatnot. And I mean, this isn't really a big scene, except in that this is the guy who's going to be working for her for the next year or two.
Yeah.
For the next few books.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
It is an introduction to Gabriel. That's part of what this means. Like mostly what we get out of this is Sylvia.
And we
And
get a
meeting
better
her.
introduction of him later. But yeah, this is
But
in
she's-
time when it would happen.
Yeah. Like mostly what we get is her, because it was her car in question. What's going on with it? How do we make all this work? And that, what can she do to help pay for it now that her car is fixed?
Meanwhile, Mercy's been coming up with all these theories about what could be happening.
Yeah. Which is why she went to work. I'm gonna take my mind off it with some easy something else, and let the rest of the back of my mind, cogitate on what's going on.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Turning wrenches can help connect the hindbrain.
I think so. Yeah.
She goes and talks to Bran and says, hey, here's my theory. And he's like, hey, that's not a bad theory. And then she feels all warm and fuzzy.
I got a pat on the head. Yeah.
And he sort of talks about their timeline for like werewolves coming out.
Mhm.
And I don't remember if this is where it was, but at some point she's like, I had to think about my loyalties. And even though I'm not a werewolf or whatever, he's still my Marok. Like he still was an influential person. And so if she thinks he's in danger, she's going to do something to fix that.
Yeah.
Or do about it.
She's been meditating on it, as my dad would say.
And the thing I got amused by was like, yeah, Brandon seemed surprised or to care that they were keeping me out of the loop.
But I sort of like, on the one hand, I was like, yeah, he wasn't surprised, but I also feel like he's like, but I know you're going to figure, I knew you weren't letting it go. I knew I would hear from you, like kind of like, it's cute that they tried kind of like,
I felt like, this is werewolf thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Pat on the head.
But if anyone is going to know how well that's going to go over, I feel like that person's the Marok.
But he didn't. Like they're leaving and they're to go back, and he's like, let the boys handle this. He's forgotten.
Felt like that was a thing he needed to say, and like sort of like Adam, like, nobody can talk to Kyle and really tell him what's really going on, right? I went back to that and kind of felt like it was a little bit like Bran trying to put on a show for everybody else. Like, look, I tried to tell her. Like, you saw me say she should leave this to the grown-ups or whatever, and so we get a theory about, like, eventually what Mercy settles on is, I'm not quite sure how, but this has something to do with Bran wanting to bring the werewolves out into the public, and somebody ain't happy. And that's obviously what all this leads back to. We don't know quite what yet, but that's when she's got like the bones of a theory and goes to Bran and goes, yeah. So I was watching Westworld and I happened to notice. No, I'm kidding. There's this episode of Lost, and there's a guy in the background with this t-shirt on, it was that kind of thing. Like, I know there's something there, but I don't quite know what it is, but I think these things are related. I have all the dots, and I'm not quite sure what order they connect in, but I'm pretty sure they'll make a picture when we're done.
Yeah.
So that's where we get to. And then Mercy heads home after a long day at the office. Mercy heads home to an even longer night.
Yeah.
And she's like, I could still smell Mac. That sucks. And that's why she didn't notice that there was the smell of other people. Namely, David Christensen of Star of David fame.
Yes.
And then doesn't she try to take some of the guys out? She like breaks one of the guys'
nose. And I'm like, he's a human. That's going to take a minute to heal.
Yeah. That was kind of what I noticed too. Yeah. And then she figures out, like, they're not trying to kill her.
Yeah.
They're not trying to mess with her. Like, they
all.
want her not to be injured. And I think one of them says something at one point, like,
But you know what's a different way to do that other than ambushing somebody from inside their house?
Maybe wait outside.
Yeah, knock on the door.
Yeah,
Or knock.
pay them a visit, knock on the door.
Have you considered a pager?
Yeah, you could.
Could you
pager.
just call
Jeez.
and leave a number and then have someone
We'd like to
return your
talk
call?
about the stuff going on. She would have been like, I totally want to talk to somebody about the stuff going on.
There's some stuff going on with your
Also-
car's warranty.
Yeah, they're. I'm sure their vehicle could use an oil change or something. They could schedule an
I mean,
appointment,
can we-
take it in there, and say, "Hey, by the way."
While I got you here,
Yeah.
could we talk a little bit about? Yeah,
I'm just saying there's other ways to start a conversation other than ambushing. I can understand why mercenaries didn't go there first, but there are other options.
Mercy and the Mercenaries.
I'm still back at that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide whether or not you're out of the pack for it.
That's a yes.
So there are so many other options. You could have waited on the porch. You could have made a
Yeah.
phone call.
Yeah.
You could have. There are like 900 other ways
Yeah.
that you could have done this. Are you really interested in talking about some stuff? Like, yeah, because we've got some stuff that we'd like to talk about. And yeah, let's see what we can do here. Yeah, but no.
We're mercenaries. We don't go in through the front door. We have to sneak in through windows and
Yeah. and then we get another "what are you" conversation.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, you're not a werewolf, I'd swear, but you got something, man.
It's you that smells like fur in the hunt.
Yeah, the hunt.
Yeah. Every time somebody asks Mercy what she is, all I can think of is because I watched every episode of True Blood more than once, and people ask Sookie what she is all the time, and she always says, "I'm a waitress." So every time somebody goes to Mercy and goes, "What are you?" in my mind, I just hear, "I'm a waitress." It's just yeah.
People have a habit when they know you're pregnant of asking if you know what you're having. And I really like to respond with, "We're hoping human."
Last I checked, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's hoping.
So yeah, that's my way of dealing with people that I don't know, or like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah. So what are you having?" Hoping human.
But in 2026, all bets are off.
Yeah.
Who can say?
Who can say?
Eventually, we find out who these guys are.
Yeah.
And a thing that I appreciated was don't swear in front of the lady,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
still
which is very Adam.
Yeah.
which I thought was pretty funny. But we find out who they are. That's when we get the big reveal of it's David Christensen. He introduces the other people, and we find out what his deal is. He's an extraction expert. So they send him in to go get people out where mere mortals have failed. So he's supposed to rescue Adam.
That's what he wants to do now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because turns out the one behind kidnapping him is like,
Well,
oh, well.
It wasn't their idea, but like they were part of the group who went to the house, which we did know because Adam had mentioned that he smelled him.
That he knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a smell I have not smelt since.
The last time we had chili for dinner, I
Yeah.
had to go there. Yeah. Brittany couldn't. She'd have to cough. So
Yeah.
there you go. But then this is when we get a new name added to the mix because they say they were recruited into into this little MLM scheme by Jerry Wallace. What do you call Amway when it's for werewolves, Eric? Work on that while we keep going. So yeah, we find out Jerry Wallace is part of this equation. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
So
Son of the vet who is
for those playing
becoming
along at
crazy.
home,
Mhm.
yeah,
So yeah, they were recruited by them, and there was sort of an argument of like, well, it wasn't supposed to turn out like that, and they weren't supposed to take Jesse. And then David's like, I don't know, it was so bad, maybe it was on purpose. So incompetent, it
Yeah.
had to be intentional.
there's no way they could have accidentally. I think what he says is like they're so bad at this, like there's no way they could have stumbled into having that happen unless that's what
Yeah.
they were aiming for all along.
And they may not have intended Mac's death, but nobody was particularly sad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we already knew from like Mercy's smelling of it and discussing it with Daryl that whoever got Jessie went right up to her room. They didn't make other turns.
Right.
They knew right where to find her, even though she wouldn't have screamed.
Mm. And then again, the phone rings.
Yeah.
I enjoy mixing the mundane and the bizarre
I did too.
a lot.
Yeah.
So Mercy's mom calls saying, "Hey, Thanksgiving. Here's what's happening with everyone. Your sister's engaged and blah, blah, blah."
Thanks, Mom.
It's like,
What are you
oh.
up to?
I got mercenaries over.
I've got mercenaries in my
Yeah.
living room right now. We're trying to figure out what happened to my neighbor and his kid.
I think my favorite part was her mom gossiping about different people that Warren has dated. It's like,
Oh yeah.
oh, is it Warren and Kyle? I do like him. And then like dishing about previous boyfriends.
That was kind of fun. Yeah. Yeah. I liked that it showed how long Mercy and Warren have been friends and how close their friendship is, that even Mercy's mom knows him, knows at least some of his history, all that kind of stuff. Like to have met and known each other and known about his dating past. Like that was what I liked about that, was like, yeah, they really are that good of friends and have been that good of friends for that long of a time.
I enjoyed that a lot. And she's like, "No, I have different friends over for Thanksgiving, Mom. They forgot to bring anything for dinner, but one of them has a broken nose."
Why they didn't knock, I'll never know, but
So now David's like, "I want to help rescue Jesse and Adam. So let's do it." And
we find out why Mac ended up on Mercy's
Yeah.
porch was, you need to stay out of this.
which is what I think what triggers Mercy to be like, "Wait a minute. I would have smelled you before if you dropped him off on the porch. It didn't occur to me I didn't smell anyone else. That means witch."
Yeah.
Which is weird because actually we learn in the next book that vampires can erase smells too, but witch is certainly more likely
Yeah.
since the vampires were only tangentially related to the rest of this mess.
Basically, David has gotten to this point and like, where we are now is nowhere near where we were supposed to be. There was a timeline, there was a plan. This aggression will not stand, man.
yeah.
And so now we have to go figure out the rest of what's going on. And so that's where like David's allegiance has switched, is like, none of this was ever supposed to be this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was promised a bill of goods.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is different than that.
This is so not that. Yeah.
And we find out that some of the reasons that people are involved is an interest in staying hidden and not coming out, not having the werewolves come out to the public.
Right. Which confirms Mercy's theory that this is how they're connected, is somebody knows it's what's happening and they're mad about it.
Mhm.
They all mad. But Bran says he hasn't been keeping it a secret from werewolves. Anyway.
Yeah, like internally, so to speak. Like werewolves know this is a thing that's
Yeah.
going to happen. Or at least that it is a thing that is being considered, that
Or
it's a thing.
rumored.
Yeah.
As in
Like,
So,
again,
TTS
with the
reports.
junior high gossip machine.
Apple hasn't said anything, but the suppliers have blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Brand's like, oh,
Yeah.
and one more thing.
Mark Gurman wrote an article and now everyone knows it's true.
So Mark Gurman is the one who told us that the werewolves are going to come out to the public. That's what we're saying.
That's what we're saying.
Bran didn't say it, but Mark
It
Gurman,
wasn't, but yeah, Mark Gurman has a friend that knows a guy, and here we are.
who's in the Maroc pack.
in the Morocco pack? Yeah, who lives in Aspen Creek.
He's an Apple rumor guy who usually has inside sources.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He usually writes an article about something that's going to happen about a week or two before it actually happens.
Mm.
Or occasionally 2 years.
Well, once in a great while, but usually it's like, well, now Mark Gurman wrote about it, so it must be true. And then the next week is like, we're having an Apple event. Oh,
Mm.
what do you know about that?
Mm.
So yeah, after all this,
The Mark Gurman of the werewolves. Oh my gosh, is that Sage?
Oh, you betrayed.
I mean, she only reports it to the witches, but
Mm.
maybe.
Yeah.
she's in the Maroc pack. She's
Yes.
got connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least she's one of Mark Gurman's inside sources.
Yeah, she's got a lot of info ain't nobody else got. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Oh, and maybe Mark Gurman's a love talker. And that's how he gets everyone to tell him everything.
Oh, mystery solved.
Mm.
There
Sorry,
it is.
non-Apple fans.
Yeah.
There it is. But if you are Apple fans, then we've already told you should come listen to our podcast.
Wait till we get to about the internet trolls.
Oh no.
It's a complete tangent. Doesn't it seem like all the trolls are really different? We've met 3 trolls and they're all completely different. Like the one in this one is in banking.
Oh yeah.
And then like the other one lives under a bridge in Seattle.
Yeah.
And then the other one is like really dumb and just smashes cars.
Oh yeah.
And they're all trolls, but
Yeah.
like what makes a troll then? Because they all seem really different.
That's an interesting question.
Hey,
Yeah, I wonder. Now here comes Samuel.
Yeah. And Sammy's like, wait, somebody wants to kill my dad?
Well, you better pack a lunch.
Yeah. Also, I'm
Gonna be at
feeling
it a
better.
while.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
my dad can beat up your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of where we're at. Yeah.
Basically recap everything for Samuel.
But this is where I think the witch theory comes in, because witches don't want this to happen, because where will it end? This is a werewolf will it end?
It basically turned into a witch hunt.
Well, exactly. It's a slippery slope, because once everybody, like, when all we have is Fae, it's fine. There's this one thing, and that's all there is, and we can be done. And then vampires are super not interested in having the werewolves come
Yeah.
out, because then they'll
Or the
have
really
to be
creepy
next.
ones do want them to come out.
Well, yeah, but like they don't want to be next, and witches feel the same. Like once people find out there's 2, then it's going to be, well, great. How many are there?
Yeah.
And then they will come for us.
Which is a totally logical argument, except that's not the one they cite in the book. The one cited in the book, and whether or not Mercy's right, who knows, was because once they're not in hiding, they won't need witches as much to hide their tracks. But actually, once they come out, what we learn is they need witches even more.
Even more than
Because
they did
what they have
before.
to do is hide the really creepy stuff from people who already know they're werewolves.
The worst of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they want a selective rollout.
Exactly. The friends and family lunch is what we're doing here. Yeah. So they give Samuel get Samuel up to speed. They sit him down with recap guy.
Yeah.
And
It's like, I couldn't understand a word.
I have
of what
no
he was
idea what
saying.
just happened.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then this is where Mercy figures out, I would have smelled anybody that dropped anybody off. There wasn't anybody else here. This means witches. And so then talk about the witches. And Samuel says, David, we're going to go over this again now that I'm here, because I can tell whether or not you're lying.
Mhm.
And then he gets a recap and is like, yeah, that seems legit. So
We should probably wrap up here for
Yeah.
this week. Like,
we're going to take it. This is where we take our quick snack break.
we will.
Oh, yeah.
So next time we're going to start on chapter 14. Eric made us a treat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what is it you've made for us here today, Eric?
The recipe of Mercy's brownie, sans the orange, because I didn't have
Well, the
any.
orange comes much later on. So this is
Yeah.
like the OG brownie
so
recipe.
this
So,
is
here
the-
we go.
The brownie.
Pretty good.
That is a tasty brownie. And also Samuel L. Moroxon.
Is it a big kahuna brownie? Is that what I'm hearing?
It is a big kahuna brownie. Describe what Brand Cornick looks like.
We got there. No, these are delicious. What is the frosting?
Oh, that's not from the Mercy recipe.
Yeah, that's just chocolate chips on it.
Oh, okay.
I melt chocolate chips on it because, but they are Troll House chocolate chips.
So that's a totally different kind of troll, is what you're saying.
Totally different kind of troll. They
That's the 4th kind of troll we
Yeah,
have
they-
now. They live in
they deal in sweets and
they live in trees
baked
and make
goods.
cookies.
yeah, they do. Yeah,
I mean, we're real close to the Keebler Elves at this point. So.
well, they could be trolls.
Maybe they just call themselves elves.
Goblins Gossip Corner.
We did have some answers to our question of the what would the Chamber of Commerce Travel Bureau slogans be for Aspen Creek? Should I read off a few of them?
Yeah, because I'm still stuffing my pie hole.
Okay, well, if I have more, I will cough. So, a beautiful wilderness, but the locals can be prickly. A quaint mountain town where the most dangerous person you could run into is a delivery boy. The town where you wish you didn't know your neighbors.
You don't have to be crazy to live here. Just dangerous and unstable.
If you don't know it's here, we don't want you.
Aspen Creek. Neighborhood watch taken to a whole new level.
And here's one not on there. You can check in anytime you like, but you will need a leash. It's a hotel.
Ow. Wow. Aspen Creek is so friendly. Coyotes and werewolves are part of the same pack. Aspen Creek, where predators are not the creeps who prey on old people who have enough life insurance.
Aspen Creek, where supermoons occur more than astronomers predict.
And another one from a friend of mine that I very much enjoyed. He said, we now have 15 streetlights. I said, I think it might be 3.
So we are going to hit pause for this week
Yeah. Next time we're going to tackle.
with a brand new episode. That's for Kelly. I'm trying to give her an aneurysm.
You might be succeeding. But you also gave me a brownie, so
Yeah,
I can't be too mad about it. So, yeah.
But do they or do they not have X-Lax?
That's a fair question, and I probably should have checked.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't have Samuel as a lie detector, so even
Yeah.
whatever you said, I would have to just believe you, and I don't know how that would go.
Next time we're tackling chapter 14. So please come join us. In the meantime, farewell, Howl. Howl. Ow!
Werewolves of Aspen.